Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Garansh Bhardwaj and today we are going to discuss about the second day's play of the New Zealand versus South Africa second test match played at the Hagley Oval in Christchurch. Now the morning session, now what I said was New Zealand have to do something special, something out of the box, something different to restrict South Africa to a smaller total, small than 400, because they were well in pursuit of 400 or excess of 400 when they finished day one, and when Temba Bavuma and Rassie van der Dussen got them off to a promising start with some boundaries in the first initial overs of day two. The promise looked promising for that 400 run mark, but then there was a spell of a couple of maiden overs from Saudi and Henry, some probing line lengths, not giving them width, and that pressure paid off as Bavuma was beaten by pace from Matt Henry and was yogged by him. At that stage, New Zealand got a foot in the door of South Africans, and they fully capitalized the Kiwis. Then came Kyle Verreynne, who was looking out of sorts from ball one. Remember, he then nicked off to slips, a delivery that was outside off stump, that was planned to be leaved, but he poked at it, and it was technically a defensive prod that got to the slips, and then it was Neil Wagner who came in to clean up the tail. Somewhat he did, somewhat he didn't, because at 3:02 for 8 game was the New Zealanders were thinking of just closing the innings before 320 or in 10-15 runs, but what came then was a counter-attacking partnership between Maharaj and Janssen. It was the first time that we saw Wagner's ploy of short balls to the tail ender gone wrong. It was Janssen who was pulling and hooking the ball to the boundary, and it was the first time in that session, in that day, that New Zealand's were looking a little bit defensive, a little bit out of sorts, not having control on their plans. A 62-run attacking partnership. They were attacking Wagner in particular, along with playing Saudi carefully. But as soon as Wagner was out of the attack, and the man who replaced him was Kyle Jamieson, a tall frame who has some of the most disconcerting bouncers, and he bowled those bouncers to the tail, that is Keshav Maharaj, and he just played at it, gloved it to the slips, and then there was the end of the South African innings at 364. What that partnership did was give momentum to the South Africans, to give a much needed momentum and boost to the South Africans, and it was a huge total and a very good performance of batting when we compare it to the first test, when they were out in double digits in the first innings of the test match. It was a batting debacle, as I said, in the first test match. So it was much improved performance with the bat for South Africans. It is a team that showed resilience Now, as I said, the momentum was on their side, and the momentum reflected in their bowling innings also. They got Tom Latham to one of the most unluckiest dismissals for batsmen, playing down the leg side and getting caught by the wicketkeeper. Tom Latham was gone in that way. Kagiso Rabada was on fire in his first spell, that 8-over spell where he gave just 16 away and picked up 2 crucial wickets of Will Young and Tom Latham. He was just bowling a tighter line and lengths. Remember, in the second session, midway through the second session, it was overcast cloud, and it remained that way throughout the day because there was rain threats in Christchurch, and those overcast clouds certainly helped South Africa in their bowling, as they were quickly reduced to 91 for 5. There was a counter-attacking innings of 23 of 36 from Henry Nicholls. He was playing some shots, but there was a definitive plan for him, and you could see when he got out that plan worked. There was a man stationed between deep point and cover point because it is one of the Henry Nicholls' favorite shot to cut, riding on the bounce and to cut over the cover regions. And there was a shorter length ball from Marco Jansen that kicked up off the length, that bounced much, and he just rode the bounce to cut the ball and was caught by that man. And it was a much structured planning, a much planned innings from South African perspective. As I said, they were 91 for 5, but what followed was again a match, again certainly an innings saving partnership between Colin de Grandhomme and Daryl Mitchell. Daryl Mitchell was a little bit cautious, a little bit applied in his approach, and Colin de Grandhomme did what de Grandhomme does. He played his shots. He kept attacking the ball. He kept playing the cover drives, the straight drives, the cut shot to just perfection, batting looking easy when he was on the crease. And then when he got to his 50 of 36 ball, there was some pressure applied on CDG at that point, because of the close-in fielders. The South Africans brought some close-in fielders and bowled some dot balls, hoping that because of the pressure of dot balls he would go over the top or miscue some shot, but he passed that test, and they were not out. Both the batsmen were not out at the finish of the day with 145 for 5, but it was largely a South African day with some of the fight with the bat that was shown by South Africans. Remember, they were down in dumps coming from the first test match, and the resilience, the character that they showed, first batting in the way they did and then bowling those crucial line and lengths in these Kiwi conditions. So it was certainly a South African day, but New Zealand are somewhat starting to gain control of this match with that 66 runs not out partnership from New Zealand. So that's all from day 2 of New Zealand versus South Africa second day's play, and stay tuned to my channel for further match updates, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment on my YouTube channel. Thank you.